Hey folks, thanks for joining us for another session. It's Matt Coffey with the Coffee Group. This is going to be a very interesting session related to click fraud. A lot of the accounts we work with, we have to be very careful to find out if there are people clicking on ads for the only apparent reason, which is to click you out of the search. So if you're running an ad campaign, you'd be very cognizant to watch click fraud. And we're going to go through that right now to understand what click fraud is, how you can prevent it, and this is going to be a great session. On the line with me is Mike Perino. Mike Perino and I work together on a tremendous amount of accounts to solve various pay-per-click strategies, but this is one that really is one that you have to pay attention to.
Okay. All right. So if we take a look at any kind of search, if I repeatedly click on one of these ads over here shaded on the top or going down the left, it's going to cost that particular advertiser money. If I do it repeatedly, it's going to cost them a lot of money. So the way to get around having a competition click on you and just keep checking you out is to actually make your ad disappear. What happens is anytime I click on this ad, the IP address is actually recorded along with cookie information. So if I go into my web site's server logs and I can view the stats going on, what we can do is go into a program called Ad Watcher. And what that's going to do for me is actually going to give me a report on everybody that's coming to my website. So if I run a report and do a review report and actually go into the client that's set up with and take a look at his information, so I can view all clicks coming in from a time frame, let's just say the last week, 7 days. I can show the stats. I can download this, and when I do, I can bring it out to a report. This report is going to give you every IP address that came to my website. Whatever.
Right, and look at all those duplicate IP addresses. Although some of them might be you or some of them might be somebody else, but I saw even a row down there with a lot in the, like 109, 199. What the heck is that?
Well, that's me right over here.
Okay.
That's me.
Okay, I was gonna say that I could understand you.
That's me right there. But there's other ones here.
Yep, 204, 41. Yeah, and look at the one over there, the 2041. There's a whole bunch in a row. So competitor, somebody's banging some.
On my customer's website. Someone's testing them out. Sometimes it could be a client or it could be one of their customers that actually just going to this site and just too lazy to just search them up by name. They just type in exterminator or whatever and they keep going to them. Or it could be a competitor to catch checking them out, or it could be someone that wants to maliciously run up their budget. What you do is, to prevent that from happening, you can use a feature in Google called IP exclusion. So you really just take all these IP addresses and you copy them. So you go over to Google in your ad campaigns, and you go to networks, and there's a section there which says Manage IP Address Exclusions. You click on that, and you just dump in all the IP addresses that we just talked about.
Right.
What's going to happen is Google will prevent your ad from showing to all those IP addresses. I mean, there's ways to get around this. People can use different computers, or they can use IP proxies, but they would have to be really determined. The average person doesn't know anything about this.
Right.
They're not going to consistently see that ad. They're not going to see the ad running on Google for pest control. They're going to think you've gone, and you're not going to be a threat to them. So that's really it. One of the ways that I actually try to figure out what's going on is that we can go to the raw server logs and take a look at what's going on. And this is an example of one. So we take a look at the traffic and where it's coming from. So we take a look and see where the traffic is coming from. In this guy only advertises in 50, 60 mile square radius. This
right.
traffic over here from Florida is a concern. I don't know who that is, or Virginia and Maryland is a concern. California, I'm not worried about. That's just Google. So I can actually go in and take a look where this is coming from. This is coming from outside of Philly. I know that he's got competition right outside of Philly. So we want to make sure the people that are coming from this area over here, we exclude their IP addresses.
Right.
And that's really it. That's one of the basic ways of just trying to save people money, because we don't want certain people to see our sites.
Wow. It's like the combination of this, adding in the negative keywords, all the things that you really need to do. It's complicated, and if you don't do it right, there's so much wasted spend in these campaigns.
I just want to point out one thing. Yesterday was a particularly bad day for this client. Out of 11 clicks to his campaign, out of 11, actually there were actually 17. Google took out 6 of them because it found them to be invalid. And it could have been one of those guys we just saw where they click 5 times in a row because they don't really know what they're doing. But if you spread out your clicks to once an hour, Google will still count them, and you'll have the same effect. It's just that most people have no clue how to commit click fraud.
Right. No, I understand. And at $10 a click, whoo, big numbers there.
Yeah, it's $10 a click. Average cost per click, $10. So this is not even a large client where the clicks are more than that, because we have clients that spend 20 or more a click, but they can add up pretty fast. So we need to make sure that every click, or as much as possible, is valid. And that's really important.
Good stuff. All right, Mike, thanks. This is a great tutorial. It's just a small piece of a larger pay-per-click strategy and management campaign that you and I have been working on tons of clients, and there's always another thing to try and squeeze as much as we can out of Google, because we know that Google squeezes as much as they can out of our clients.
Exactly. Every little bit helps, and then that makes us all more valuable to our clients.